A few weeks ago, making the playoffs looked like a pipe dream. But here in Week 17, with just 2 more games left to go in the regular season, and it is now a very real reality for the Denver Broncos, who have won 3 games in a row. We obviously had that midseason skid, but the team looks like they are back with not just 3 wins in a row, but 3 blowouts. And we're looking to keep the train rolling here against the Carolina Panthers. In the last episode, we had a doubleheader against the Texans and the Dolphins. We also had a prospect profile going over the big fellas, the Hog Mollies, the offensive and defensive linemen in this year's class. Next episode will be the next prospect profile where we go over linebackers and defensive backs. So as we look at where we are, obviously we started the year off 5-2, and it looked like it was going to be another great season for us. Then we had the 5-game losing streak, and the sky is falling. But after our bye week, we've been playing some great football. We beat the Raiders by 19, the Texans by 21, and the Dolphins by 21. We are clicking right now on both sides of the ball. The offense has been great. Bo Nix is playing well. Ashton Jeanty has looked the best of his career. And then defensively, we have our identity from last year back. The pass rush, the run defense from last year has returned. And as we look at where we are with 2 weeks to go, we don't necessarily control our own fate. We're still going to need some help around the rest of the NFL, but making the playoffs is no longer an inconceivable pipe dream. Rather, if a few things go our way and we win out, then we very well could grab a wild card spot. We are the 10th seed, but we're tied for 7th with Houston, the Steelers, and the Chargers. We've played against all 3 of those teams this season. Back in Week 5, we beat the Steelers at their place. We played the Chargers twice and got swept. And then obviously we just played and beat the Texans in the last episode. Those 3 teams really haven't played each other, though. The only matchup between them is the Texans beating the Steelers. So I think Madden has gotten the tiebreakers wrong. The order should be the Chargers is the 7th seed, followed by us, then the Texans, and then the Steelers, since we beat both Houston and Pittsburgh. We would be out of the playoffs regardless, but we should be ahead of both Houston and the Steelers. So I'm hoping EA gets it right. Otherwise, we could really get screwed here. As we look at all the teams whose schedules we're competing with, I think we had the easiest left. The Panthers and the Raiders are no slouches. Neither of these teams are pushovers, and Carolina is firmly in the mix for an NFC playoff spot. But we're better than both of those teams, and both of those games are at home. The Chargers have lost 4 in a row. They are the team we need to lose the most since they swept us. And they haven't won since this game back in Week 12, whereas we haven't lost since that game. That was the turning point. Justin Herbert, of course, got injured in that matchup, but he's not the one allowing 28 and 52 and 31 points. He did return last week against the Bills. They lost, and now they had the Chiefs and the Jets, 2 very hard games to finish out the year. The Texans play Baltimore, who of course does not have Lamar Jackson, and then Indianapolis, who's currently leading the AFC South. The Steelers play the Bengals in Week 17. That game probably decides the winner of the division. The Steelers have already lost to Cincinnati and are currently on a 3-game losing streak, but their last 2 losses are only by 1 point. They then had the Titans in Week 18. No pushover, but they should win that. As for Cincinnati, we might as well look at them as well, since they also are 8-7, currently leading the AFC North, but that could change with a loss to the Steelers. They play against Carolina in Week 18. Jacksonville's currently 9-6. They are the 6th seed, a little bit ahead of us, but with a loss, that could change, especially considering they are playing against Buffalo, who's the best team in the NFL, followed by the Packers, who are currently pushing for a wild card spot in the NFC. So overall, most of these teams left in the AFC playoff picture have a hard schedule. Jacksonville still has to play Buffalo. The Chiefs' schedule is rough. But I don't want to take Carolina lightly. Even though they are 7-8, they're actually in a decent spot to grab a playoff bid. They're not currently in the postseason picture, but much like us, with a win and some help, they could get that spot. The Panthers are only 7-8 in a very weak NFC where only 5 teams are currently above 500. The Panthers did not play well early in the season, but they're playing their best football down the stretch. They've won 3 in a row. The offense is clicking. 35, 38, and 28 points over each of their last 3 games. The Browns are bad, but Atlanta's really good, and the Ravens, even without Lamar Jackson, are far from a pushover. As we look at this Carolina roster, they've got a good nucleus and a bright future over the next couple of years. Former number 1 pick Bryce Young has come into his own. It's taken him a little bit of time, but he's having a career year. here in his 4th season in the pros. Of course, we got to see C.J. Stroud last episode, the guy drafted after him. Stroud is the better player, but he was pretty bad against us. Jonathan Brooks and Reuben Owens, one of the talented young running back tandems. Xavier Legette leads the receiver room. They also have first-rounder London Humphreys and second-round rookie Kendrick Law to go along with Jatavian Sanders and Isaiah Likely at tight end. They've got plenty of playmakers defensively with Derek Brooks, J.C. Horn, Shamar Turner, former top 10 pick. Trevin Wallace has really developed well. Another thing that's going for us, along with our team performance and our easier schedule with both games at home, is that the team is very healthy. We only have 2 injuries right now. Marvin Mims, of course, who's been out the last few weeks, and then Cameron Hayward, who got injured in the last episode. We had a bunch of guys get banged up in that Dolphins game. Ashton Genty, Tez Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Nick Benito, and Michael Williams all left that game with injuries, but they are all good to go today. Of course, as we know, Marvin Mims is a huge loss, but our offense has been a lot better than I would have expected with him out of the lineup. So let's get this show on the road, Week 17. Every game has felt like a playoff game for us since the bye week. We've got to keep that mentality. But Nix is shocked on the blitz by Nick Hampton, who is in with the sack, and the first drive ends in a 3-and-out as Hampton was unblocked off the edge. Panthers with their first drive of the game. Jonathan Brooks, a talented third-year back in motion. Bryce Yanez picked off! The rookie out of Stanford, Colin Wright, with the interception. And Denver's going to get it back with good field position at the 42. Colin Wright had his first and second career interceptions in the Houston game last episode. His first interception going for a pick 6. And here's career interception number 3. All of which have come in the last 3 weeks. 3rd inches up the middle. A good run here for Ashton Genty, who, as I mentioned earlier, he's playing the best football of his career over these last few weeks. We have really leaned into him, and he is producing. Back to him here on the misdirection. Whoop! Jukes away from a couple defenders, and he brings it to the 13 as Carolina has an injury. That one nearly going for a first down. Couple plays later, at the 5, 1st and goal. We're going to go back to him, and Ashton Genty is in for a touchdown. So the interception by Colin Wright directly leads to 7 points for the offense, and the Broncos strike first. That's a good start. Of course, both of these teams on the outside looking in for playoff spots, but with a win, both teams certainly find themselves in much better positioning. Here is Young on first down. He connects. This is Jatavian Sanders, who gets by Moss and is wrapped up by Marvin Grant, third-year tight end out of Texas. Him and Trevin Wallace, drafted in the 4th round of the 2024 draft, have become really good players. Here's Reuben Owens, Texas A&M. Loses a couple, wrapped up by Michael Williams. Williams has had a really disappointing second season, but he's finally healthy now, and hopefully we can get his best football down the stretch. 2nd and 7, Owens loses 4. Jeffrey Bussa delivers the boom. Bussa's been playing at an all-pro level over these last few weeks. It's been so much fun to see. 3rd and 11, Legette cannot hang on. I think that was Colin Wright who jarred the ball away. 4th down now at the 39. They're going to go for the long field goal try. 56-yarder, and this kick is blocked! Savon Ravel! And it's picked up by Marvin Grant! Looking for a blocker, too! Grant will outrun Sanders, and he takes it all the way for a scoop and score! A special teams touchdown for the Broncos, and they lead at 14-0. Say what you want about Savon Revel in coverage. He's been burnt toast whenever he's out there, but he is a damn good special teams player. 4 blocked kicks over the last 2 years. This is his first one this year, and it comes at a great time. Grant with the return for the touchdown, and it's 14-0 Broncos. The ball continues to bounce our way, it seems like, over these last few weeks. Pivotal drive now for Carolina. 3rd and 3. Young on the run. Xavier Legette does hang on this time. He gets it past the 50 to the 47-yard line as Austin Corbett, the starting guard, is hurt on the play for the Panthers. 2nd and 8 at the 33. They're moving it down the field pretty nicely again. Young goes short for Owens, who loses yardage. It's Jeffrey Bussa once again who brings him down, and that'll make it a 3rd and 12. This is what Bussa has done all year. He lives in the backfield. He's a great covered player. I mean, he really does it all. Young under pressure, and he is sacked off the blitz by guess who? Jeffrey Bassa. As Michael Williams is a little banged up, he should be fine. And that'll wrap up the first quarter. Much like the last 3 weeks, it has been all Broncos. The ball continues to bounce our way with the interception by Wright, the special teams touchdown by Marvin Grant. And to make matters worse for Carolina, their starting running back, Jonathan Brooks, got injured earlier in the game. He won't return. So that's why Reuben Owens has been getting all of the touches. He has not gotten off to a great start. 3rd and 15. Nix with a dime for Tez Johnson. What a throw by Bo. Tez was never really open on that play, but Bo knew up the seam Tez Johnson was going to have just enough space to come down with it if Bo is able to put that one on the money, which he does. 3rd and 6, here is Bo Nix under pressure. He connects with Cooper Kupp, who brings it to the 43. Cooper Kupp and Tez Johnson playing this well without Marvin Mims has been so much fun to see. 2nd and 10, Nix looking deep. He's picked off. J.C. Horn with the interception, and the heat check pass results in a turnover as Horn is tracked down at the 36. That was a great drive by Bo Nix, and it's wiped away by the interception by Horn. A couple of former top 10 picks at corner with interceptions in this game. Wright for the Broncos, and now Horn for Carolina. And the Panthers get to wipe the slate clean. This is an opportunity to make it a one-score game. On 2nd and 1, this one is hauled in by Xavier Legette. Inside the 10, wrapped up at around the 5 by Chris Abrams-Drain and Jeffrey Bassa. That'll make it a 3rd and goal at the 5 for Carolina, looking to punch it in. Young looks to throw it under pressure, and he throws it in the back of the end zone. Good job by the Denver pass rush to get home. Good job by the coverage to not let anyone get open. And the Panthers are going to have to settle for a field goal. They'll take it, all things considered, with how bad the first quarter went, but I'm sure they would have loved 7. A big reason why we've played well over the last couple of weeks is our dominance in the red zone on both sides of the ball. That's continued today. 2nd and 5, a nice juke move by Ashton Jeanty. He brings it to the 50. 7 carries, 58 yards for Jeanty. That's over 8 a pop. This is what he's been doing over the last 3 weeks. He has really turned into a star for this offense when we needed it the most. On 1st down, there's the rookie Chris Brazzell. Tries to get away from the defender as he gets it to the 29-yard line. Even though we have 14 points and obviously had this big lead, I feel like the offense hasn't been that impressive today. One of the touchdowns was off of special teams. The other one directly off of an interception. As Nix is sacked on 3rd and 11. Jason Henderson, the second-year linebacker from Old Dominion, brings him down, and that'll bring out the field goal unit. 54-yard try for Big Nuts. Will Lutz. Kick is right down the middle, and the Broncos add to the lead. It is 17-3. The Panthers now with a 2-minute drill looking to strike back. 3rd down and 4. Humphreys, the first rounder, in motion. Yon on the run. It's broken up. Chris Abrams-Drain makes the play. He was looking for Deontay Johnson. So Denver gets it back, looking to add to the lead. 3rd and 6 at the 14. Bo Nix looks to throw it. He goes short for Harrison Whaley, who gets the first down. We've got to keep it moving, though. No time to waste. 1 minute and 1 second left to go. It's now 3rd and 1. Nix misfires. He had Cooper Kupp wide open. Got to make that pass. There's no excuse. So Denver punts it, and Carolina has it back with 44 seconds left. 2nd and 10 at the 26 with 2 timeouts. It's a screen for Owens, and he is pushed backwards by Jeffrey Bassa. His 3rd tackle for loss already. Bassa has taken over this game defensively. 3rd and 12. They're just going to run the ball here with Owens, and he is wrapped up by guess who? Jeffrey Bassa. He has 12 tackles in the first half alone. As Denver gets it back, 3rd and 10, 15 seconds left. Here is Bo Nix, launches it deep down the field for Franklin, and it's broken up by J.C. Horn. That was a good throw, just a great cover play by Horn, one of the few bright spots for the Panthers in this first half. 17-3 going into the break. We're playing well on defense, we're playing well on special teams. I think we've been a little slow offensively, but it's hard to complain when you're up by 14 against a Panthers team who is obviously fighting for a playoff spot. Let's look at some scores around the league. We're hoping for some good news in terms of teams we need to lose. None more so than the Chargers, who have lost 4 games in a row. And so far, Kansas City is doing us a solid. The Chiefs clinched the division last week for the 17,000th season in a row. The Chiefs lead at 13-3 after a missed kick by Harrison Butker, who is now in second place for the NFL's respecting women competition. He's been passed up by Justin Tucker. As for the Chargers, if they lose and we win, we pass them in the standings, which is huge given that we don't have the tiebreaker. In Seattle, Avery Johnson and the Seahawks putting on a show. They lead 27-14 against the Cowboys. Avery Johnson with 4 touchdowns already. I guess this makes us feel a little less bad for getting torched by this man a couple weeks ago. Dallas, obviously a great team. Dak Prescott, though, 3 of 11. Not his day. And then the Arizona Cardinals, if they lose, they clinch the number 1 pick and likely win the Dante Moore sweepstakes. However, they're not really doing a very good job of tanking. They lead at 17-14 over the Raiders. I think Las Vegas losing would be good news for us. The less they have to play for the next week, the better, because, well, obviously they're playing against us, and I think regardless if we win or lose this game against Carolina, we would have to beat the Raiders if we want to make the playoffs. Going into the second half, I want to see more from the passing game. Bo Nix just 9 of 18 with the interception. He's had a couple really nice throws, but overall hasn't been that impressive. On the other side of the ball, I've got to shout out Jeffrey Bossa. I can't say enough good things about him. 12 tackles, 3 for a loss, and a sack. He has gotten a tackle on 40% of our defensive plays in this game. That is unbelievable. As the Panthers get it to start the third, a touchdown makes it a 1-score game. As Young connects with Deontay Johnson, who gets it past the 50 to the 44. He had to get rid of that ball quick because Jeffrey Bossa was coming in off the blitz at lightning speed. 2nd and 10 with Ruben Owens in motion. Young looks to throw it, going to scramble around with it, and he fumbles the ball! Michael Williams rips it away, but it's scooped up by Ruben Owens, who in this first half had 10 carries for just 21 yards. Our top-notch run defense is playing their best ball right now. 3rd and 2, Owens gets it up the middle with plenty of space. Breaking tackles as he gets the first down to the 17. The Panthers have it in the red zone. They could not capitalize on their last trip. Will they do it here? 1st and goal. Young scrambles, has room, and runs it in for a score. The Panthers are within 1 possession, and with how our offenses look today, I'm a little concerned. The Panthers are right back in this game. This is a huge drive for us. 3rd and 3, Ashton Jeanty fumbles it, and it's picked up by the Panthers. What is happening? The first 3.5 minutes of this second half have started off as a disaster. We were up by 14 going into half. We were sitting pretty, and all of a sudden, the Panthers score a touchdown, they force a turnover, and they're going to get the ball at like the 30-yard line. Now, I imagine we're going to take a look at this one in review. In real time, I kind of did think it was a fumble, but I imagine the booth at the very least is going to have to take a look at it, given that it is a turnover. So we'll see if this play stands. Even if it doesn't, Jeanty did not get the first down, so we would punt the ball away anyway. So Carolina's going to get the ball back. It's a question of field position. And, well, obviously, 50-yard difference of field position is a lot. So, as you can see here, it looks like he's down. And ultimately, the call would be reversed. Even though Carolina still gets the ball, we are really lucky because the Panthers have to start at their own 18 instead of, like, what was it, the 35-yard line? That's a 50-yard difference. Ruben Owens breaks the tackle from Grant, and he's going to look to make up all the yardage. Gets by Moss, and is tracked down by Jordan Davis, of all people. The 350-pound defensive tackle catches up. I don't know what's more impressive, the run by Owens or Jordan Davis being the guy to get him in the back end. 3rd and 10, here is Bryce Young. He will throw it away. Good job by the pass rush there to send some pressure. And the Panthers will be unable to tie the game on this possession, but they can cut the lead to 4. It is a 42-yard field goal try. The kick is good. We were up by 14 going into the half, but the lead has cut down to 4. Huge drive upcoming for the offense. And again, we really haven't had one singular great drive today on this side of the ball. Nice catch there by the rookie Harold Fannin. Had a career game a week ago with 6 catches against the Dolphins. It's now a 3rd and 4 from the 45. Bo Nix looks to throw it up the middle. Nice catch. Cooper Kupp hangs on for the first down to the 47. That was not an easy one to hang in. Following play, Nix on the run has Cooper Kupp open, and he makes the play to the 31. Bo Nix has really not played a very good game today, but he's starting to really look good on this drive, and hopefully he can keep it going. Third and 2 now at the 23. Harold Fannin Jr. is the motion man. Nix looks to throw it again. He's under pressure. He's going to dump it off for Genty. Whoop! Jukes away from the defender, breaks the tackle, and gets it to the 7. Sometimes you just got to dump it off and let your playmakers do all the work for you. As Genty brings the Broncos in the red zone. First and goal. Nix scrambles, has rushing room to the left side, and he walks it in! His 9th rushing touchdown of the year. It's crazy. He only had 1 in the regular season a year ago. But nonetheless, a huge drive from the offense. And Bo Nix, for the first time today, looking persistent and accurate as that'll wrap up the third quarter. Definitely not a great 10 minutes of football from us, but scoring that touchdown at the end is gigantic. Overall, the Panthers played pretty well. They nearly had the turnover. Then Ruben Owens made up the yardage from the turnover. And when they cut the lead to 4, I was quite concerned that the Panthers were firmly back in the game. They were starting to gain momentum and control. Now, this game's not over, but we still have control of the wheel. Leggett cannot hang on. Drops have been an issue for the Panthers. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of yards. Okay, I'm a little bit confused because if Jonathan Brooks has 135,000 yards, how do the Panthers have 8 losses? Is their defense that bad? Huh. Third and 6 from the 30, looking for Isaiah Likely, but he cannot hang on, wrapped up by Drew Sanders. Bryce Young has barely completed 50% of his passes, but I don't think he's been that bad today. The receivers are selling him, man. These drops are out of control. Third and 4, Tez Johnson only gets a yard. Nice play there by Carolina to get the stop, and the Panthers get it back. Still not out of this game. They're only down by 11. A score on this drive certainly changes things. Young under pressure. He is sacked. Nick Benito and Baron Browning, the Killer Bees, bring him down, and that'll force a punt here on Carolina. They're not going to go for it on 4th and 15. Denver back with it. 3rd and 8. Short throw is caught. Tez Johnson, first down up the middle as he is wrapped up at around the 30. A touchdown would really put us in a good spot here, already up by 11. As it's going to be an RPO run. Ashton Genty going backwards. Wrapped up by Shamar Turner, the second-year pro out of Texas A&M, not to be mistaken with Shamar Stewart, who was drafted in the 4th round this year by the Philadelphia Eagles. 2nd and 12. Nix looking deep. He's got Kupp up the seam. He's into the end zone for a touchdown. A 32-yard score for well-known field stretcher Cooper Kupp. Great throw there by Nix. Again, Kupp really was not open during that route. But Nix saw the opening eventually happening as he threw the ball. Kupp delivers with the score, and the Broncos are right back up by 3 possessions. It's 31-13. 5.5 minutes left, not looking good for the Panthers. Young up the middle, nice throw and catch. That will bring them to around midfield. It's Ruben Owens, who's had a great second half out of the backfield. 3rd down and 3 now at the 43. Young calls for motion with Xavier Leggett, who has had the case of the drops in this game. He's got like 3 or 4 at this point. As Jatavion Sanders gets the first down, that'll keep the chains moving. 2nd and 6 at the 15 now. Young looking short. He's got Deontay Johnson, who will get by Riley Moss and is in for a score. So Carolina is able to get the touchdown. They bring the lead back within 11, but now they've got to go for the onside kick. This one will quickly be scooped up by a leaping Christian Horn. So Denver's going to get it back at the 44, looking to finish off the job. 3rd and 6, first play after the 2-minute warning, as Bo Nix will hand it off for Ashton Genty, and he does not get the first down, only a gain of the yard. The Panthers will call a timeout, and they'll get it back down by 11. You can make the argument for us to kick a field goal here. It's a 56-yarder, but I want to pin them deep and force them to have as worse field position as possible. I don't want to miss the kick and let them start at like the 40-yard line. So it's a 3rd and 3 at the 21. Bryce Young looks to throw it up the middle with a strike. And that one is hauled into the 41-yard line. The Panthers quickly calling time. 3rd and 3. Young with a moon ball for the end zone. It is intercepted. Patrick Surtain with the clincher. His 6th interception of the year, which puts him in sole possession of first place in the NFL in terms of picks. 31-20, your final. Don't look now. The red-hot Denver Broncos have won 4 games in a row. We are now 9-7, and the race for the playoffs is looking more and more likely by the minute. I don't think we played as well in this game as we have over the last few weeks, but still, a win is a win. Bo Nix was not on his A game, but he did have some really impressive throws, including the late touchdown to Kupp. As for Bryce Young, I know the numbers are not great. I don't think he played that bad, though. The Panthers had, I think, 7 drops in this game. Xavier Legette finished with 5. Yeah, it was a rough one for Xavier Legette. He was terrible. On the ground, Reuben Owens with a huge second half. 7 carries for 95 yards in the second half. I'm surprised they went away from the run, even though they were trailing. Ashton Jeanty played well. All the receivers were pretty solid for us. And then another good game defensively. Jeffrey Bossa finishes with 19 tackles. That is insane. 3 for a loss and a sack. Only 2 sacks for both sides today. Impressive in our perspective because the Panthers came into this game second in the NFL in sacks. So we got to give the offensive line credit. Those guys have been balling over the last 4 games. This is the first game in that stretch that Andrew Thomas has started and finished. So he was actually out there and he looked pretty solid, which was good to see. So in terms of record, before simulating, we are now the 7th seed. So at this very moment, we're in the playoffs. That could change, but nonetheless, I'm going to treasure this because when the playoff picture first came out, we were like the 14th seed. Also, nobody got injured this week. That's a win. Looking across the rest of the NFL, Jacksonville loses to Buffalo. The Steelers do beat the Bengals, so Pittsburgh takes first place in the division. The Chargers lose to the Chiefs. The only thing that could have made this week better is a Texans loss, but otherwise, it went pretty much perfect for us. Matthew Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, Brian Brzee, and Christian Barmore were the players of the week. Jeffrey Bossa got robbed. And going into week 18 with 1 week to go, your Denver Broncos are currently in the playoffs as the number 7th seed, with the Chargers losing and the Bengals dropping to the 10th spot. Right now, it's a 3-way tie with us, Jacksonville, and Houston, and we have the tiebreaker over the Texans, being that we just beat them. So going into this Week 18 game against the Raiders, if we win, we will pull off the impossible and make the playoffs. If we lose, there's like a 95% chance we're out. So there is a lot riding in this game. A huge episode next time around, as we've also got a prospect profile going over linebackers and DBs, along with our studs and duds of the year. There will be a lot of candidates for both awards. Hope everyone enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Broncos country, let's ride.